What's up, YouTube? This is Sir Italian from 8-Bit Co-op, and I want to thank you for joining me today, as I want to talk about some incident that just kind of happened a little bit on the channel. So, I am kind of, well, I don't want to say, okay, here's what happened. There's a guy, and he kept dying. He's not in our group, and he asked me for a res. I have no problem giving people res. You know, the problem is, I don't know what it's, I think it's Anon or whatever. You can't inspect his gear. Okay? I hate when people do that. That to me is a form of people being like elitism. Like, I'm so good, you don't deserve to look to see what I have. You're a peasant, don't, pass me, that kind of thing. That's just what I get. This is one of the guys. And it irritates the ever-living hell out of me because, I see guys with cool armor, and I'm like, hey, I want to know, where they got that and get information from them, but I can't because they're anonymous. And then when you ask them, they go Google it. It's this say, Google it. And I understand if they're in the middle of doing something. The particular person I was talking about happened to be standing in the middle of Altdorf. Just standing, there's a platform in Altdorf that everybody with awesome gear stands, and that's another thing that irritates me. They stand up there for people to look at them, for people to go ooh and ah, and then they're all in on it. Or where they're all, you can't, like, here, watch this guy. Is this the guy? No, I don't think it was him. It's this guy here. That. He doesn't allow people to inspect. I hate that. So, I'm not going to heal you. I'm not going to heal you. I'm not going to res you. If you, that's just how I feel. And I got an argument. Well, I had mentioned it in chat, right? And people were like, yeah, you have every right to not want your gear to be inspected. Which you do. I'm not arguing that. I'm not saying if you want not, if you don't want to have your gear inspected, and you don't want people to know, how cool you are. That's by all means. Go ahead. You're playing. I'm not controlling your computer. I don't control you. That's what you want to do. Go ahead. That's all you. But I'm not gonna heal you or res you. That's my right. I don't think I got. Some people were, on board. Other people blasted me for it. And they were like, "That's stupid. That's stupid." Just because they're, I'm like, just because they don't want to show you their gear. I'm like, well, why don't they want to show me their gear? That's stupid. Part of these games are to get gear and show off your character how badass you are. It just is. You want to get the epics, you want to get the purples, you want to get the fat loots, and you want people to see, how awesome you are, and that also shows, how much dedication you have to the game, and the progression of yourself and your guild. It says a lot about your, you as a player and your guild. So you want to show off your stuff. You want people to look at you, and you want people. I rather enjoy when people scope me out and be like, "Hey, yo, where did you get that piece of gear? That's kind of hot boogers. I want to know where you got it from." I'm like, "Oh yeah, you got to do this, that, and this." But people like, "Oh, I don't want to be bothered by questions by peons that are beneath me." I know I have good gear. I got it. That just irritates. It irritates the dog shit out of me. So I'm not gonna hear you. That's my right. If you're gonna be that, to me, that's being elite. That's elitism right there. When you just you can't inspect my character. Well, I'm not gonna heal you. I'm not gonna res you. Okay, I'm just not gonna do it. I have every right not to. And everybody's like, oh, that's stupid. Well, not showing your character, or not letting people inspect your character is just as stupid to me. What is the worst thing that's going to happen? People are going to ask you questions. If you don't want to answer questions, be like, hey, I really don't want to. And I will take that because I've had somebody say, hey, I'm kind of busy right now. I really don't, want to talk about my gear. And he was in the middle of doing something. He's like, hey, I'm in the middle of doing this. I really don't have time to sit there and tell you where I got my gear. And this was the one person that was like, yeah, but you can find it if you Google this. And I was like, okay, cool, because he was cool about it. But the other guy was just, he was just a straight up Google it. That's all he said. Didn't tell me what gear it was to Google because I couldn't freaking see it. So I'm like, okay, how do I was gonna, comment back to this dude and be like, okay, jackass, how do I Google? I don't have my, what the hell, I just realized that. I don't have any morale abilities there. But I'm like, how do I... Yeah, I'll put this there. How do I Google the Your gear, if I can't inspect it to find out what gear it is, it's just stupid. Now you're just being an asshole. So, I mean, tell me what you think. Do you agree with me? Do you think that's a form of elitism? Because I really do. You think you're just so good that you can't, you know, people shouldn't be able to inspect your character because you're that, you know, hot booties. You know, okay, well, fine. You know, the downside is there are some times where that's a pretty nice cannon. Your gun is beast. I like that. I mean, this dude, look how badass this dude looks. You know, and I'm glad I'm so. I'm gonna die. I'm lacking in my healing duties, so chit chat, gum bumping. Anyways, so you know, if you think that's a form of elitism, you know, let me know in the comments below. I think it is. I don't. I just. You know, if you agree with me, that's cool. If you don't, I mean, that's cool too. It's not going to change how I feel. I'm still not going to heal you or res you or, you know, people like that, I just kind of, and I did none of that shit, but I don't really put on ignore. And, you know, I see them, I see their gear, I click ignore, and, you know, it irks me to no end when people are that dick-headed about their characters, where you know they feel that they're so badass. Like, oh, you know, you can't be inspected, and that's kind of sneaky to me. Like, if you're hiding from somebody, I get it, but actually, in this dude's, I got most of this dude's guild on. Actually, I think he's the only one in this guild that I don't have. They're a very elitist guild, and that's another thing. It's their whole guild that does it. So I normally don't. It's some German name, and is this the other warrior priest I couldn't, or could I inspect her? I did. Titan Sledge. That's a big ass hammer. Good lord, it's beast. Anyways, let me know what you think in the comments below, and I will see you guys in the next video. Take care.